Hey, class, welcome to week number 5. Now, I'm calling this week Interdependence, but there are many other things that we could title this week. If I were to describe the big picture of our focus this week, it's largely on taking control over our situation, over our education, our learning, our life, and using our time deliberately to focus on time management skills or self-management skills. So one of the things we'll be looking at this week are a variety of ways that can help you organize your life, keeping track of the important things, about prioritizing the things that are urgent and necessary and important, and spending less time focused on things that are unimportant or things that will have no impact on your life or success next year or in the years to come. So we'll be talking about acting with purpose, choosing actions, choosing to spend our time, our energy, doing things that will help us stay on course to reach our goals. Help you live out your dreams. One of the ways, of course, that we do that is by employing some of these self-management tools, calendaring, planning, scheduling, etc. And another thing that we will talk about in line with these, developing interdependence is this concept of grit. Grit really became a catchphrase maybe 4 or 5 years ago. There was a book by a University of Pennsylvania's professor named Angela Duckworth, and she made a ton of money selling this bestseller called Grit. And it was on all the talk shows and all the podcasts, and people were focusing a lot on this term of grit. And so we're going to follow suit and talk about a little bit about what Dr. Duckworth means by grit. It's this idea of persistence, of focus, of commitment. In her findings, grit was the thing that helped separate students who would be successful, not just in academics, but in other things, other challenging tasks, and those who would not be successful. Now, I've been teaching for a number of years. I work with so many students, and I will attest that there is a divide between the students who succeed and those who do not. And while I cannot say there's one thing that all students who succeed do and all students who don't do, but I can say that there are, with confidence, that there are some things that give students a higher success or higher rate of success. Now, the things that I want to point out for you to be aware of, both in the way that you are perhaps naturally, I want you to be aware of a tendency to drift, of waiting passively, of waiting things to happen to you, of kind of floating from one unpurposeful event to another. Now, without getting too autobiographical, this is, as a parent, one of my biggest pet peeves with my children. Every week I get from Apple an alert about how much time my daughter spends on her phone. And it's something like 50 hours a week. And I march into her bedroom like, Annie, what are you doing? How are you spending this much time on your phone? Do you have no dreams? Do you have nothing that you want to accomplish? Imagine if you spent those 52 hours, and not even all of them, maybe half of them, a third of them, in pursuit of one of your goals, of one of the things that you want to accomplish. I don't care what that thing is. Maybe you want to learn to play an instrument. Maybe you want to read a book. Maybe you just want to get physically fit. Maybe you just want to do whatever. But don't just sit around. Don't just wait for things to happen, right? Take life by the reins, take control of your situation, and march towards your goal. I also see that many students live what I would call disorganized or unplanned lives. When I was in my early 20s, I learned a powerful message about the importance of scheduling, of planning. For a good 2.5 years, I lived an incredibly organized, planned out life. And in that time, I was able to accomplish more than I had ever at any point in my life. And I attest that. I point to the power of scheduling, of planning out my life, of how I would use my time and ensuring that the way I used my time aligned with, again, the quadrant 1, quadrant 2 activities that we'll learn about in our modules this week. All right, and then finally, showing that grit, not giving up when things get tough. So those are the things that we'll be focusing on in our modules. This week I also have designated another one of our hard skills assignments. This week we'll be talking about note-taking, and you'll be invited to try to do one thing differently this week when it comes to note-taking. So we have a total of 5 modules this week, please let me know if you have any questions or concerns. So far from the feedback I've been receiving from class, many of these events or many of these activities, these modules, are proving to be very helpful. And I'm getting a lot of emails from students saying, this was great, I'm learning so much, keep it coming. So I'll keep it coming. I hope it is helpful.